Okay, so welcome everyone. Welcome to the Brand Power Hour. If we haven't met already, my name is Mallika Malhotra. I think I know most of you, but if you're watching the recording and we haven't met, I am a brand strategist, mentor, and speaker for female entrepreneurs who struggle with standing out in their crowded markets. I help them find their power niches so that they can become the sought after expert. And I love to lead communities of brand builders, and that's why the Brand Power Hour. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I host this as a free community for women in business so that you can get some trainings around branding, which I lead, but then I invite amazing women like Nicole who talk about other business topics that either you tell me you want to learn about, or I'm just hearing about it in my network or in the community that you need to hear about it. So as I said, put your information in the chat. Let's use this also as a networking opportunity so that you can connect. And before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping. I want to give you a reminder of what's coming up next. So in March, we have two meetings. One is a book club meeting, which the book of the month is Effortless by Greg McKeown. And so if you read Essentialism, which is an amazing, amazing book, this is his second book. And it's all about like how we can do less and make things easy, which who doesn't want that? So pick up your book, get it from the library, and join me on March 9th at 11 a.m. And even if you're not a reader, just come, because even the topics that we share, to be honest, half the people don't even read the book, and it's totally fine. Just come and hang out, and we'll talk about certain things, and it'll be a nice little session. And then on March 23rd at 11 a.m. as well, Jody Brandon is coming. And so she is a book coach. She actually helped me. I wrote a book in 2017, the Brand Photography Playbook, my editor. And she's doing a presentation called Serve Your Business with a Book. So I know many of you have a book inside you. Many of you have talked to me about, you know, really like dreaming of becoming an author or having a book on your vision board. This will be a great session to kind of hear about how we can increase our business, even boost our brand. Like really, my book was a great way to differentiate me from every other brand photographer that was out there. So having a book is a great marketing tool. So she'll get more into that. So hope you will join for those two events that are coming up in March. Okay, so let's talk about today. So today you guys are here because you have something to sell. You have either an offer, you have a product or a service, and you probably need to write a sales page, and you want to not feel salesy and that weird icky feeling, but you actually want people to feel excited to buy. Well, you are in the right place, because that is what Nicole does. That is her specialty. She's a brilliant copywriter. I've had the honor to have her in my mastermind last year and really helped her work on her brand and her positioning. And, you know, she really is the go-to for sales page copy. If you are having an offer, if you have a launch, she's the only person you want to go to. She can help you with the sales page, but then she can also help you with the launch copy that goes along with that in your email sequence. So she can help you do that. That's what we're going to be talking about today. 10 tips for writing unforgettable sales pages. A little bit about Nicole. Okay. She is a chai latte loving copywriter with 20 years of experience. Her happy place is writing sales pages, although she loves a good launch email sequence too. Her mission: to help female business owners stand out from the crowd, attract their ideal clients, and sell out their signature offers with fun, feel-good copy. No icky bro marketing strategies, just relatable words that get readers to say, I want that. So I think we all want that. So welcome, Nicole. Thank you so much for being here. So excited to have you, and you have the floor.
All right. Thank you so much for that intro. Yes, I was in Mallika's mastermind. Absolutely loved it. And the funny thing too is that I was promoting all the things like website copy, which I still love writing, like all the things. And she really helped me niche down. She said, you got to put your stake in the ground and just like really focus on one thing. So sales page copy was the thing. So that's why I'm here today speaking about sales page copy. But yeah, just side note, that niching is so important. So Mallika is your girl for that. So I will start sharing my screen and go right into a deck, and then we can do questions at the end, or if anything urgent comes up in the middle, just let us know. Mallika is going to be watching the chats. Okay. Okay, can you guys all see this, my presentation?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, perfect. So 10 tips for writing a fun and unforgettable sales page. Yeah, the key here, of course, you want to sell, but you also want to stand out because there are so many people doing what we do. So you want your copy to help you stand out in a way that's really unforgettable. Yeah, so I'm just going to go over this super quickly because I already got the intro for me. So I'm Nicole. I'm a sales page copywriter. I started copywriting basically right out of university, and mostly for agencies, marketing companies in-house. And then I transitioned to a design studio. And then along the way throughout my career, I started a side hustle of my own business. I did that for like 10 years, which is way too long. And then a couple years ago, I went full-time in my business. And like we talked about, it's all about fun, feel a good copy, infusing your personality so your copy is more memorable, so it stands out, and it's just a joy to read for your readers too. And a couple things I love, aside from my family, of course, reading, traveling, and chai lattes. So today we're going to go into the power of a high converting sales page, why your sales page is so important. Then we're going to look into why people buy or why they don't buy, which is just as important. And then I'm going to dive into those 10 tips. And these are high level tips with tangible examples so that you can not only learn the theory of what you should do, but also see specific examples that you can follow in your own copy. And even though this is focused on sales page copy today, most of these tips honestly can be used for other types of marketing materials like your website copy or your email copy, your social media copy. Like, they're pretty universal. So going into the power of your sales page. So your sales page is really important, not just for you, but for your readers. So from their perspective, it does three things, probably more, but I'm going to focus on these three. It educates, it empowers, and it incites. So from the educational standpoint, your sales page basically houses all the information they need to make an informed decision. And I always say that informed piece is so important because you never want people to make a decision out of, being misled or not having all the information they need. They just need to make it from a good place. So you're going to have information about your product or service, whatever it might be. You're going to have FAQs. You're going to have, you're going to talk about pain points and dreams, so many things on your sales page, which is why sales pages can be really long. But some people just need all that information before they buy. Some people will skim, but there will be other people who will read every single word before they're ready to take that next step. Your sales page should also empower them. It should show them that not only do you understand their struggles and their pain points, but you have a solution to help them. And it should also excite them. So if it's written well, it's going to get them to think like, I'm so excited to buy. I could wait, but I don't want to. I want to do this now. So there's going to be that sense of urgency, but in a fun, feel-good way. And then for you, it's going to be such a valuable resource because it's going to save you time. It's going to simplify your life, and it's going to sell on your behalf. So in terms of time savings, because it has all that information on the one page, it's like a one-stop shop for information. Anytime people ask about your new product or program, service, whatever it is, you can essentially just hand them the URL to that sales page, and then they can do, all the reading, all the ingesting of the information. So it's not like you're not going to have those side conversations with people, but it's just an easy way to get those questions answered where you're not answering them over and over and over again in the DMs or on calls. It's going to simplify your life too, because it's going to serve as the content hub of your launch, whether you're doing live launches or evergreen. Basically, all the information is going to start there. So whenever people come to me for launch content, we always start with a sales page and then go from there. So you can write your sales page first and then take little bits and pieces of that and then use those for your email sequences or your social media captions. So again, everything starts there. And then you can also repurpose your sales copy for future launches. So say you do live launches a couple times a year, one in the spring, one in the winter. In the winter, you can go back and use the same copy you used in the spring. Like, you might want to tweak things here and there, but the content should work for you over and over again. And then, of course, it should also sell on your behalf and boost your profits. so that you can scale your business. Okay, so now looking into why people buy and sometimes why they don't buy. Oftentimes, let me see, obviously we can't get into the minds of every single reader, but generally speaking, they need to have a few core beliefs before they invest in you. There are certain things they need to believe about you, about your offer, and then even about themselves. So here are things that they need to believe about you. They need to know that you understand them on a deeper level. So not just what they want, but also what they don't want. And the example I've given before is, say you're a business coach and you're telling somebody, hey, if you work with me, I can get your calendar booked up with 10 discovery calls a week. But if your reader doesn't even like being on calls, if that's like a nightmare situation to them, then they're going to think, okay, you're the last person I want to work with. Like, no, I'm not going to invest in you. So again, it's not just what they want, but what they don't want. They need to believe that you have the right credentials to support them. And I put credentials in quotation marks because it's not always just about your certifications or your degrees. It could just be your experience, like the clients you've served before and the results you've gotten for those clients. So it's not always what's on paper. And they need to believe that you have the right solution at the right time to support them. So that timing is kind of tricky sometimes. Like we know we have a great product or service, and sometimes it can be frustrating when people don't buy right away because we think, oh, it's just so perfect for them. Why aren't they buying? But the timing does have to be right for them. And this can be especially true with email sequences, like your welcome sequence. Sometimes people will say, well, I've got this amazing welcome sequence, but people aren't buying within those 5 days. Why is that the case? Sometimes like they're just not ready to buy yet. It doesn't mean they will never buy. Maybe they're going to stay on your list and buy a month from now or 3 months from now. So again, it's really just about the timing. Now, here are a few things they need to believe about your offer, that thing that you're selling. So first of all, they need to believe that it's going to make their life easier, not harder, because they're probably already busy enough as it is. They're probably stressed out already. So they don't want to think that, oh my gosh, this is just going to make my life harder. So your copy comes into play there because it can debunk those feelings. So say you do have a course that's going to take a lot of time for your reader to go through, your copy can just say, okay, yes, this will be a time investment, but it's going to save you so much time in the future, or it will help you make this much money, or. You just have to use your copy to kind of fight those objections. Another thing they need to believe about your offer is that it's not just a one-hit wonder. There will be times where your product or service can just be used once and, it's a one and done kind of thing. But if you can show that your offer can benefit somebody for the long term or multiple times, then that's even more powerful. This might be something tangible, like maybe you have a template that can be used over and over again, or it could be something less tangible, like you're teaching them a special skill, or maybe it's a mindset shift. Like if you're a coach and you're giving somebody more confidence, that's going to work for them over and over again because it's always going to come into play throughout the rest of their life, really. And they also need to believe that the investment will pay off in a big way. And it's not always about the finances. Usually it is. Like if you are charging $1,000 for something, usually people will think, but will I make this $1,000 back? So money does come into play. But again, it could be other benefits too, like time freedom or more confidence. So just making that really clear in your copy. And then there are a few things they need to believe about themselves too. So one thing is they need to believe that they don't have to be perfect to invest in you or your offer. An example I could give is I have a template kit helping people write their sales page. And one of the objections people might have is, well, I'm not creative. I'm not a good writer. I can't do this. I can't be taught this. So then in my own copy, I have to tell people or assure them that, yes, you absolutely can learn this. This is a learnable skill. So again, it's just knowing your audience really well and just kind of understanding what hesitations they're going to have. They also need to believe that it's not too late for them to be, do, or have whatever they want. So they're not too old to start. They're not too young to start. Again, it's just knowing your audience and addressing those things. And another thing is They need to believe that they can achieve their biggest goals, that anything's possible for them, no matter what they've tried before. So say they're trying to lose weight and they've tried a million fad diets that haven't worked. Your copy needs to, again, reassure them. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It's all about looking forward. Okay, so just to summarize that whole section, really just understanding those beliefs are going to help you write copy that's more engaging, more interesting, more fun to read, but also more relevant to your readers. So now I'm going to dive into those 10 easy tips. Again, the high level and the tangible example, so you can see how to improve your sales copy and also your website copy, email copy too, but leading with the sales page copy. So the goal here, just to set the stage, is we want fun, feel-good copy that gets people excited versus pressured to buy, because I don't think any of us like to be pressured. We don't want our readers to feel that way too, because when you buy from a place of pressure or scarcity, you're going to run into these things. You're going to run into buyer's remorse. Maybe people are excited in the moment to buy from you, but then afterwards they start thinking, was that the best decision? And then they might ask for a refund. Or if they've purchased kind of half-heartedly, they're not going to put their whole heart into it. They're not going to work for it, and they're not going to get amazing results. And then you're going to miss out on those raving testimonials. So just long story short, it never wins to push people into purchasing something. Instead, here's the goal. You want your readers to read your copy and then walk away thinking, this is such a great investment. Even if it's a premium product or service, even if, you know, it's really expensive, they still feel like there's so much value here. It's a great investment. And I could wait, but I don't want to. I need this in my life. So then that leads to the question, how do you do that? How do you create that excitement and urgency to buy without sounding like a used car salesman? So a few things here. You're going to avoid all of those things that can make your sales page too salesy. And yes, your sales page has to sell, but there are certain things that just make it too much, too icky. One of them is over the top hype, where it just feels too unbelievable. You know, it's just like the claims are too much. You're just kind of rolling your eyes thinking like, okay, I want to be sold on this, but like, that's too much. Maybe in the copy, there's a million exclamation marks all the time. Like it's just too loud. The copy itself feels loud. And then design, I think we all know design that feels too yucky, where it's like, again, too loud, too cluttered, too busy, too like just raw, like too much. And then also none of that shaming, scare tactics. I probably don't need to say that. Or a false sense of urgency. If you're kind of lying in your copy and saying, oh, I've only got 2 spots open, but really you have 10 or 15, that's going to come back to bite you. So it really just comes down to being ethical in your marketing. Okay, so all that said, now we're going to move into those tips that I promised, tips to let your measured but mighty words do the selling for you. So the first one is to know your audience's big 3. And we've all done audience exercises before, ideal client exercises. I like to say that there are nice to haves, things like knowing your audience's favorites. So what are their favorite coffee drink? What's their favorite movie? What's their favorite motto? Like those are nice to have because you can weave those into your copy to make it more personable and fun and relatable. But they are not the things that you absolutely need to have. So the must-haves are, where are they now? So where's your reader now? Where do they want to be? What are their big dreams, big goals? But what's getting in their way? So these 3 things are so key to writing your sales page copy, or really any copy for that matter. So yes, those other things are fun and nice to have, but these are the ones that you absolutely must know before you write your copy. And the key here is to be really specific. This is going to be one of the themes of this presentation, is to make your copy super specific, because that's what's going to make it stand out from everyone else's copy on the internet. So I'm going to give you some examples of where are they now, where do they want to be, and what's getting in their way. So here's an example. Where are they now? So you can write your copy in this way. You're a web designer that's struggling to attract good clients. But if you want to make it more specific, you could say something like, you're a web designer that keeps attracting clients who expect 5 extra rounds of changes for free. So it's just making it more specific. So you're really painting the picture, and somebody reading that is going to be like, oh yeah, I know those kind of clients. I don't want those kind of clients. So taking a pretty vague statement and making it more specific and giving it more punch. So here's an example of where do they want to be. So again, taking a statement like you want clients who value your time and expertise. So nothing wrong with that statement on its own, but you can just really nail it in more and say you want clients who trust your strategy, love your first round designs, and pay your invoices without blinking. Like that's the dream client right there. So again, just painting that picture. And then here's another one, what's getting in their way? You're letting limiting beliefs hold you back. Well, what are those limiting beliefs? There are a million limiting beliefs out there. So then you make it more specific by saying you're letting thoughts like, who am I to charge this much, hold you back. Okay, so now that we've talked about being specific, second one, grab attention from the very first line. So this is all about your headline, especially on a sales page, could be on your homepage too. It's the first thing that people read. So it has to grab attention, and the goal is to get people to keep reading, because especially on a sales page, unless somebody knows you really well and has been in your world for a long time, they're probably going to need to read more of the content on your sales page before they hit the button to go to the checkout page. So they're going to need more information. So then your headline, really the main goal of your headline is to get them to keep reading. And generally speaking, you're going to lead with positivity, like where they want to be versus what they're going to avoid. But there are different ways to write your headline, and I'm going to show you a couple examples. So here's an example of going from the negative to the positive. So the first one is never struggle to find new clients again, learn how. So you could absolutely write your headline this way, or you could switch it to the positive and say, wake up to new client bookings every single week, learn how. So again, same information, just a different spin on how you're presenting it. And like I said, there are so many, like there's not just one right way to write a headline. There's so many different ways you can write your headline. So I'm going to dive into a few of them here. So I'm going to spend a bit more time on this section. Every section won't take this long. But here are 4 different ways that you can write your headline. The big promise, from this to that, a relatable question, and a matter of time. So I'm going to show you examples for each one. So for big promise, this is basically speaking to the one thing, the big thing or result that your reader wants the most. So your reader probably wants more than one thing. Like there's 2 things, 3 things, 4 things, but for the purpose of your headline, you're just going to talk about one thing. So a lot of times when I'm writing a headline, I will think, okay, what does the reader want the most? And a lot of times this comes down to just asking them, how would you finish this sentence? I just want XYZ. Like if you're a web designer, maybe you ask that question to your audience and they say, I just want a website that makes me money. I just want a website that feels premium. Whatever that is, whatever way they answer that question, that can guide your headline, because obviously that's the thing that's most important to them, because it's rising to the top and it's the first thing they're saying. So I find that simple question is really helpful when you're trying to write headlines, asking your reader, how would you finish this sentence? I just want XYZ. So here's kind of the format of it. Your headline could be, hey, target audience. So it's, really clear who you're speaking to. Get ready to achieve this one big, amazing goal. And then you could have supporting copy or a subheadline saying something like, without having to do this frustrating, costly, or inconvenient thing. So basically you're leading with the thing that they really want, and then assuring them, and don't worry, you're not going to have to do this thing that you don't like just to get that result. So here's an example. Hey, savvy solopreneur, that's the audience. Get ready to attract more high caliber clients. And then without having to hunt people down in the DMs. So the big thing they want is high caliber clients. And then here's the thing they don't want to have to do, hunt people down in the DMs. So obviously too, these are just examples. I don't know each of your audiences, but just showing you the structure and how they can play out. So here's the second one, from this to that. So here you're just going to identify where your reader is now versus where they want to be in the future, kind of like a before and after. So it looks like this in the headline, go from this painful thing or the thing that they don't want to this amazing thing. It's really as simple as that. And then your subheadline could be, even if you're stuck on this limiting belief or this action. For example, Go from chasing clients in the DMs to attracting high caliber clients on autopilot, even if you've been told that the DMs are where it's at. So again, just this to that, really simple. Next one is a relatable question. So you're going to ask your reader a question you know they'll say yes to. So that's the key here. They have to be able to say yes to your question. And this can either focus on something your reader wants or something they don't want. So I think in the example here, I provide an example of what they don't want, but here's the headline idea. Are you tired of this frustrating thing? And then your reader is going to be nodding along thinking like, yeah, I'm really tired of this. I want to get rid of this. And then subheadline, imagine achieving this big, amazing result instead. So a tactical example, are you sick of attracting clients who try to haggle you on price? And then yes, the reader's thinking, yeah, I want to ditch these kind of clients. Let's flip that switch and fill your calendar with people who ask to pay in full. So the thing they don't want, the thing they do want. Next one, a matter of time. So this one is tricky. You just have to be able to confidently deliver on your promise. But here you're going to promise your readers a desired result in a specific time frame. Again, only if you can confidently do this. So it looks like this. Do this or achieve this big, amazing thing in just short time frame. Subheadline, even if it normally takes you this longer length of time or causes you this kind of grief. So for example, attract 7 new high caliber clients in just 7 days. Again, you have to be able to deliver on that, even if you usually go weeks without new leads or convinced there are no good clients left in the world. So, I mean, you don't have to have a subheadline supporting copy like this, but I just find sometimes it like really helps to paint the picture and give that added assurance for the readers. Okay, so that was a lot of time spent on headlines, and the next section I'm going to move quicker on. You want to empathize and empower in your copy. Like I said before, you never want to shame people or make them feel less than. It still is important to touch on the pain points. That's how you show that you understand your audience and you get them. So there's nothing wrong with touching on pain points, but you just don't want to live in that space forever and just be like pain, 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 like rubbing it so deep that it's like, oh, my life is horrible. You want to segue into your solution and provide hope and inspiration that things are going to get better. So for example, you can go from this. You've tried everything to attract new clients with no luck. You're starting to wonder if you're really cut out for running a business. So, lots of pain, lots of doom and gloom. You can switch that with the same message, but more hopeful, to something like your calendar hasn't been full as you'd like, but you're ready to turn things around and you know your dream clients are out there. So it's saying the same thing. You've been struggling to attract clients, but this one is certainly more hopeful on the right. And here's some more examples of empowering language. You're so ready for this. This is your time. You're an action taker. Your next level is waiting for you. So sometimes specifically having phrases like this in your copy really helps, because then it gets your reader to think like, yes, I am an action taker. I want to take action. And the other thing too is that even if people aren't ready to buy from you, because that will happen, people will land on your page, sales page, and not buy from you. You still want your copy to speak to those people who are ready, to those high level, ready to invest readers, because those people who aren't yet ready for you, it will still inspire them. And maybe, like I said, 1 month or 3 months down the road, they will invest in you because you have inspired them. Next one is to be as specific as possible. And I have already touched on this before, but I felt like it deserved its own page, because your copy is so important that, like, if it's too vague, if it's too watered down, you're certainly not going to stand out in your industry, and you're certainly not going to connect on a deeper level with your audience. And then from there, you're not going to drive action. So again, you want it to be so specific that your readers are nodding along thinking, oh my gosh, it's like she's in my head. How does she know this about me? So you're going to paint a more vivid picture with fun, relatable details. So another example here, being your own boss can feel really stressful sometimes, which is true. Or you make it super specific and lighthearted. Being your own boss can make you want to guzzle a bottle of rosé at 11 a.m. So just so much more specific with like the actions and the time frame. It's just, the one on the left is anybody can say that. So again, really specific. Or here's another example, which is more of a pleasure point. get ready to love waking up on Monday mornings, or start your Monday mornings with a smile even before you've had coffee. So again, just painting that picture. Number 5 is to make your bullets matter. So you want your copy to do all the heavy lifting for you. And a simple trick here is just to add simple "so you" language. So you're going to turn regular features into benefits. And I'll show you an example so you can see how it works. And this is essentially answering the question that every reader has on their mind, like, why should I care? What's in it for me? So I'll show you how it works. You could just say you're listing out the features of your course or product service, get 30 days of Voxer access. You could absolutely end it there, or you can add "so you have an expert at your fingertips and feel supported along the way. Or get instant access to my copy templates, so you never have to wonder, what the heck do I write? Or get my proven time-saving hacks so you can enjoy more time at the playground with your kiddos. So it's, like I said, it's basically just giving them a reason to care. Like, this is why you should pay attention and care about this offer, because you're going to experience this benefits. And somebody had asked before, like, if you have a ton of bullets, like, more than 3 or 4 or 5, can you write "so you" in every single one? It will get repetitive if you write "so you" in every one, but you can just say something like, get instant access to my copy templates and never have to wonder, what the heck do I write? So you can play with the language, but the important point is you're giving them reason to care. Next one is spice up your call to action button. So on your sales page, you're going to have a call to action button right at the top, right underneath your main headline, subheadline. And that call to action button is for people who are ready to invest in you right away. And then you're going to have a bunch of call to actions throughout your sales page, every section or 2 here and there. With your call to action buttons, like as with all copywriting, clear always trumps clever. So people need to know exactly what to do. They need to know exactly what you're offering, what they should do next. But with that said, you can still inject more personality and fun into your sales page copy and your call to action buttons. And one way to do this is to write in the voice of your reader too. So I'll show you examples here. So on the left, you can have your standard learn more, buy now, apply now, sign up. Again, there's nothing wrong with these because they are really clear and people will know what to do. Or you can have language like, I'm so in, let's do this, or heck yeah, I'm in, all kinds of yes. So these are just ways that you can add personality. And of course, this is going to depend on your brand tone too. If you're a really fun, cheeky brand, you can have so much fun with this. But if you're more formal, rigid brand, then maybe you tone this down a little bit. But yeah, you can definitely add personality here and there. Oh, and as I said earlier, your first call to action button, your sales page, the main goal here is that you're making it easy for people to take action. So like I said, these are people who have been in your world for a while, or maybe they've already heard about your product or service, they're ready to invest. So you want to make it easy for them to just click and go to your checkout page without having to scroll and scroll and scroll to get to a CTA button. Next, you want to make sure that your copy is appealing to the heart. So this is the case whether it's sales page copy or any kind of copy, because even the most technical products or services are usually bought with emotion. You want to make sure that your copy gets people to feel something, because it's that feeling that leads to doing, to purchasing or applying to work with you. So again, like, you got to strike some heartstrings there. So here's a simple example. You might just say something simple like, get a professional website you love, or get a professional website that you'll want to share with literally everyone you know. So the one on the right is just a bit more evocative. Like, you can picture somebody being like, here, check out my website, like sending all their family members their website. Yeah, just again, more specific and more evocative. Next one is be the supporting actor, not the starring role. And I've got a picture of building a story brand, because that's talked about a lot. Donald Miller talks about, being the guide. So you are not the hero in the story. Your reader is the hero. So you're not taking credit for their success. You're helping them get to their success, but you're not taking credit for it. And this is tied in with how you sell too. You have to look at selling, sell from a place of serving. Like, you have a product or service or solution, and you genuinely want to help somebody overcome their problem. So it's all about them. It's all about serving them. So in your copy, a good way to think of this too is to look through your copy, for example, your website copy. And if you have I's everywhere, I this, I that, obviously you're going to have those in some cases, but if your copy is reading like all I's, then it's focused a bit more too much on yourself, and to switch that language around to have more yous. So you as in the reader, so you're speaking more to them. So from this, I'm an expert in mindset coaching, and I help my clients confidently show up on video. Switch that around a bit to imagine if you had the confidence to show up on video every day without a million takes. So again, same messaging about helping people be confident on video, but the one on the right is focused more on the reader. And the next one, which might seem contradictory to the last one, is to weave in more you. So inject more of your own personality and your own vibe and your own voice. Get your readers to think, this is my person, because oftentimes, because our industries are so crowded and so busy, there are many people doing what we do. Many times the way you stand out is simply by being you, your personality or your vibe or your voice. And when people read your copy, you want them to have a sense of that, and then to walk away thinking like, this is the person I want to work with. I know I could get copy templates or design templates or coaching from anybody else, but this is my person. This is the one I want to work with. Oftentimes people invest in the who just as much as the what. So here's an example in your copy, just adding a bit of personality and a bit of you-ness. Hey, I'm Sarah, business coach for women. Or you could say, hey, I'm Sarah, business coach for women. And maybe the only person on the planet who doesn't like pumpkin spice lattes, don't kill me. So it's just adding a bit of personality, a fun fact. So it's just a bit more memorable. And lastly, you're going to end on a high note on your sales page. So when people scroll to the bottom, they've read most of the copy or all of the copy, they get to the bottom. You want to give them one last reason to take action. So it's less doom and gloom, like, oh my gosh, your world is going to crumble if you don't buy this thing, and more inspirational, more hopeful. So for example, tired of feeling stuck in your business? Secure your spot today before your income plummets. Or ready to put your big and totally achievable dreams into motion? Secure your spot today and let's get to it. So the one on the right, more positive for sure, more inspirational, getting your readers excited to take that next step. And bonus tip, don't worry about word count. Like I said before, sales pages can get really long, but that's because some people do need all the information before they buy. Some people need to read every single word and know every single thing about your product or service before they invest, while other people will just skim. But I like to say, it's not so much about the word count, it's about the quality of the copy. So, because you could have really short copy, but if it's not engaging or if it doesn't really resonate with your readers, then that's not better than having long copy that does those things. And bored readers typically don't buy. So you want to make your copy fun to read and engaging. And that is a wrap. I think I just have a couple other slides. For anyone who is interested in getting more help with their copy, I've got a sales pages that sell. It's a DIY kit, but with professional tips along the way. So you're not just left wondering okay, I've got this template, now what do I do? So it's a sales page template with copy prompts along the way, guiding you on how to write your sales page. And then I've got a launch sequence in there, 14 emails that are pretty much written for you. You just plug in your details, and a few other bonuses in there. So this is brand new. So I'm just crossing my fingers that all the tech integration is working, but this is brand new, $297, or you can use the code SAVE100. That's on my website. And then I also have my Done For You VIP days. So that's my signature service, where I write a sales page for you in 1 day, or if you want sales page plus launch emails, 2 days, or website copy, 2 days. So this is for somebody who is basically I don't even want to try to write my copy. I just want somebody else to do it. That's what the VIP day is all about. But that is, that's everything. Here's just where you can connect with me if you'd like to. My website, email, and Instagram is where I hang out. So that's it. Now I'm going to stop sharing and check out some of the chat comments.
Awesome. Oh my God. So much value, so much great advice and tips. I think this is my third time watching this, but I'm still like taking a million notes. And you make it feel so easy. That's the thing. It's like, it's so clear. Like I'm always on the left side of the copy, I think, where what you're not supposed to do. I really need to get on the right side and being more specific and being more positive, and they're really valuable tips.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. And I remembered that you had seen this presentation before. I thought, oh, she's going to be bored walking through this again. But so I'm glad
I don't
you
think
still enjoyed it.
this. And the examples are just so clear where you can actually see how you're illustrating the concepts. And I think that's the magic of this presentation, because now we can see, and no shame in the game. Like I am on the left side. There's a lot of copy that sounds like on the left side, and I know I need to do better, right? And so now I have some tools. So, all right, guys, we have a good 18 minutes. So share with us your takeaways, insights, questions. You have, the expert here on sales pages. So, the one thing I'll say is, even though this training is for a sales page, especially the headline stuff, we can use that for your homepage, and we should be using that, right, for the homepage. Like that homepage, that headline, that hook is so important and so powerful, and often it can go flat, but we can use a lot of this to like address and apply to that, even though it's not technically your sales page. So this information to me seems like it could be used in an email. It can be used for your homepage. There's a lot of different places, although it's meant today for the sales page.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too, how you said, you're often on the left, like, yeah, no shame, because sometimes I find that myself too. I will typically write my first draft of copy and then go back to it and then be like, how can I really paint the picture more? How can I make this more specific so it doesn't sound like everybody else's? So it doesn't come right away. Sometimes it takes a couple drafts to get there.
Yeah. And Emma's saying, I love the idea of hope infused throughout. I know I've been on the left side too. I found having tangible examples of how to do that so helpful. Yes. And can we just say also, for the brand photographers in the room, this is a good example of how we use brand photography in all of the marketing. Look at her amazing photos in her presentation, just takes it to the next level. So if you haven't had your brand photos done, one more reason to book someone. And there's a lot of brand photographers here in the group. So just a little plug there. So who has questions for Nicole on your sales page? Go ahead, Rebecca.
Well, this was amazing, Nicole. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm in the process with Mallika. We were just working on my brand statement, and I feel like my whole website needs like whole upgrade, language, everything. But for now, I just was curious. One of the things that we talked about in my brand statement, or one of the things we came up with, was like, next leveling your brand, attracting the right clients, standing out as a leader in your industry. So, when you gave the examples of like Big Promise, that spoke to me as like, hey, fempreneurs or female entrepreneurs or whatever it is, are you ready to next level your brand and stand out as a leader in your industry? Like, is that powerful enough? A, and then B, like, what would be the subheader then, without bootstrapping, scrambling with stock photo? Like, what, any ideas there?
Yeah. And first, yeah, I love all those things that you said because they're so relevant for any business owner. I would just also question, like, so you said, up-level your brand. What was the second one? Stand out in your industry. And then my next question would be why? Why is that important for them to up-level their brand and stand out? Is it ultimately because they want to make more money? Is it because they want to attract a higher caliber client? So you could even add a third one there or speak to that.
Grow your business. I mean, brand yourself everywhere, grow your business.
Is it become the one they hire immediately? The other thing is, I thought for you is that from this to that. So, you want to be seen as the leader in your industry. I'm not a copywriter, but, you're using powerful brand images instead of you were using selfies or stock photos, or you were bootstrapping and like, it's all disjointed. So you're like juxtaposing where you could be and where you should be versus maybe what you've done in the past. And your client, Rebecca, is the one that wants to emerge as the leader. We're kind of shifting you from maybe a newbie to someone who's like, I'm ready. I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to invest. I'm ready to next level. So I'm moving away from, using that one headshot I got at a conference all over the place. It's not working for me anymore, right? Like, and that's probably where that specific language comes in a little bit, right, Nicole?
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like I would have been your ideal client at some point too, because I feel like as soon as I invested in branding and photography, everything just felt more premium. My whole brand felt more premium. And because my fear was I didn't want people to equate my poor pictures and poor website with my quality of work. Because if somebody, like, even your quality of work could be amazing, but then if you have like really bad selfies on your website and it just feels not very premium, then people might put the two together when they shouldn't be together. So it instantly elevates that perception too.
You have a really good, what's that statement that we worked on with reflect? You use the word reflect. You want to share that with Nicole? Because it's about like, your images aren't reflecting the vision you see of yourself, the successful vision you see of yourself. And now you're ready to step into that, right? And I think that's powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it all resonates for sure.
Yeah, I need to work on that. Thank you.
It's just mastering the words to make it sound. So I know it's
Nicole, I might be calling you. This is like too much.
I know it's so hard.
It's extra hard when you're trying to write for yourself. I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I have to say, like, I feel like I do a lot of the negative, to be honest. Like, stop winging it in your branding, stop feeling overwhelmed and, stop, portraying yourself as super scattered. Instead, be the CEO of your brand. So I'm trying to do that juxtaposition, and maybe that could be a little negative and obnoxious, and maybe I have to like tweak that a little bit. But what if it's like, I mean, kind of for me, it is tough love to be on brand, to be like, really, let's be honest, you need to stop doing this and you need to start doing that. How does that come into play?
Yeah, I think it can still totally work, because like some people will say, don't touch on pain points at all. Don't even go there. It's not nice. Like, you still need to touch on those pain points. And actually, I just wrote copy for CTAs, which I don't know if she's reviewed it yet, but there are some spots where I'm like, yeah, are you tired of feeling drained and exhausted all the time? And then here's the solution. So there's nothing wrong with like pain to pleasure. I think it's just if you're doing it all the time or spending too much time focusing on the pain, then it gets too heavy and too like, oh, you're going to attract people who are on the struggle bus and just want to live in that space.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what do we have here? Jen says, I'm literally have a client who's being so stubborn about a crappy, poorly lit selfie as a photo for her book. She keeps asking, I keep telling her it's important to have a pro photo. Probably, yes. Please spread the word. If you are writing a book, you should not have.
Oh my gosh.
Selfie.
For a book? That's crazy.
Gosh, you need to do a public service announcement, Rebecca. And I don't know who else is here. Jamie's also a brand photographer. Doreen, you also do brand photography. Like, yes, no, you should not have a selfie for that. Agree. Okay, so Emma says sometimes people just want to be directed to. I think stop doing and start doing this can be a relief. Yes. It makes it very clear of what to stop and start doing, for sure.
I don't like pumpkin spice either. I don't like it. That's why I wrote it myself.
Rebecca, you have a question? Go ahead.
I have another question. I think I read this recently, like, on my sales page right now, I have like the process of like how it works. Like, first you book a call, then we do this, and then we do that. I feel like I heard recently, like, don't put the process in. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's fine, because people will usually like to know like what's going to happen, what's next, because sometimes we're so close to it that it's obvious to us, but people who are new to your offer, they want to know what's ahead. maybe it was just more a point of don't lead with that. Like that's not going to be high up on your sales page because first you want to talk about the benefits and the value. And then, by the way, here's how it works, or here's what's going to happen next. So I think it's totally fine to still include that, just maybe lower on your page.
Yeah. And then also like when you're talking about this, so you can like, I then after like the process, I have, what's included. So let's just say, for example, 100 images and it's just a bullet. Like, should that be more like 100 images? So you blah, 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 a planning call. So you feel comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Like, should I be explaining that more?
I mean, like you can absolutely just have them on their own because like you don't have to beef up your copy everywhere. But if you feel it like it would make it stronger and more compelling, then there's nothing wrong with doing that. So it could be like get 100 images. So the next time you post on social media, you're not just using the same one for the 10th time. Like you have so much variety. So just making it a bit stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find like you kind of need both. Sometimes you want the benefits to be very clear like that, but then sometimes people just want to scan and see like what's included in this. Like stop telling me about all the other stuff and just tell me what is included in this. So I definitely think benefits are very important because the features are what everybody has, right? Everybody's going to have 100 images. Everyone's going to have a planning call, right? But the way you share and focus on the benefit, it might have an opportunity to differentiate you from somebody else. So definitely think that's important too. Who here has a sales page for their product or service? So yeah, okay. And how's it working for you?
Mine is new, but I have to say, I literally have listened to this and I'm like, oh crap, I think I have to rewrite everything that I wrote. But I'm inspired. Inspired.
Oh,
well, that's what Emma said too. She's excited now that she has some of these, this framework to write hers. But yeah, I mean, the good news is you have the information, right? So it's good to kind of go and tweak it. It's like sometimes it's starting from scratch, which is the hardest part. So if you're going to do the DIY approach, now you have a framework. Now you have tools if you want to purchase that will help you even get there faster. Or you can hire Nicole so that she does the whole thing and you don't have to worry about it. But we all need a sales page. I mean, if your offer is not going to sell itself, really. And if it is, it's just you, it's exhausting because you need to do all of the work. And instead of the work in selling, you should be doing the work in actually what you're selling, right? If you're a web designer, you should be doing the designing. If you're a copywriter, you should be doing writing. If you're a photographer, you should be taking the photos, not like selling and selling and selling and trying to book. It's a lot. So that's why like going through this and really looking at your sales page to see if it's working and what's missing and what you can tweak is important, because that is like your sales staff that's working for you 24/7 all the time. I always wondered about length though, because I have a client right now in the mastermind and she shared her sales page and it seemed pretty long, but it's normal to be long, wouldn't you say? Because you want the buttons there so that there are opportunities to purchase, so you don't have to go to the bottom, but you have to make your case. So it can be long.
Yeah, it can be. And even I've read ones where I'm like, ooh, this is a long one. This is a doozy. But yeah, it's just making sure that you're getting all the key information there. You can absolutely do a shorter sales page too, but again, making sure you're hitting on those three things, like where's your reader now, where do they want to be, and what's, how can you help them? What's getting in their way and how can you help them? Yeah, so there's flexibility. Like even with the template I provide in my kit, I say in the welcome video, like this is not set in stone. You don't have to do exactly this, but obviously it's put together strategically for a reason, but you can tweak things. You can make things shorter. You can make things longer. So nothing's set in stone.
And what are your thoughts about hooks and headlines that have a metric in them? So one of my clients, we're trying to help her with her sales page and a headline, and we've sort of come up with an idea of like how to, unleash your leadership, right? Or become the expert. But like, if you can pair that with more of, be seen as a leader and triple your impact, right? Or quadruple your sales. Like, do people not believe it? Or does it add value? Does it add potency?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say yes and no, because obviously there's something powerful there, because when you look at Cosmo or any other magazine, a lot of those headlines have numbers in them. So they do grab attention and they make it more tangible. Like if you were to say, get this result in 3 months, like you can picture that, oh, by June, I'm going to have this result. So I think it is powerful, but I think if the number is too exaggerated, like 10 times your income in 1 week, then I'd be like, yeah, not happening. So I think so long as it's believable, and if you're not using that strategy with like every single headline you write.
Yeah.
Because if it's overdone, then it's like, okay, then it's watered down. Yeah, believability is a big thing for me too. Like I have to feel like I believe that it's true, that it's genuine, and not just like this big, bold marketing claim for the sake of hype.
Because I'm thinking of like the health coaches or the fitness coaches, right? Where you have a program that might be 3 months or 6 months. And is that something that you want to plug into your headline? You know, in 6 months, you'll energize your life, even though you're over 50, right?
Yeah.
Is that like too bombastic, or is that something that would really attract someone? I guess for me, I'm like over 50. If you wrote that CTAs, I'd be like, sign me up, because I need as much energy as possible.
Yeah, I think so. Because for me, my brain automatically goes to where is 6 months from now? Like, where am I going to be? And to me, I'm like, yeah, that's an attractive offer to me, because I can picture it. I can picture it on my calendar.
Right. And even for you, Jen, like, so Jen does these creative explorers and I just joined it. So we're like painting and all this fun stuff. It could be like, you know, find calm through creativity in 1 hour, right? Like that's exactly what I feel, even though I feel like I'm doing it wrong. I need a structure. She's like, no structure. I'm like, no structure. She's like, nope. Here's a quote. Go paint. I was like, oh God. But like they're, you know, creative, find calm and creativity in 1 hour. Like that would be very compelling.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have to rewrite that whole page. I'm very inspired, and thank you, because I'm totally stealing that.
She's stealing your tagline. Yeah. Oh, first of all, okay. So this is I've seen you posting about this. So that's interesting to see like who you've been working with for this. That I think that headline is really good too, because then for women, like I think of somebody like you, Mallika, who's like high achieving and busy, go, go, go. It's also like reassuring, okay, you're not going to have to spend 5 hours on this. It's just not going to like derail your schedule.
Right.
It's something easy.
Well, that's kind of like what you talked about in the very beginning, that like the investment of time, right? It doesn't feel hard, right? You don't want it to feel hard. And I think that's also important. Like the beginning of your training about what people need to believe about the offer, what they need to believe in us, and what they need to believe about themselves. That is like really strong strategy that we all should be doing before we even start, you know, with we need to know those things about our audience, you know, what the humps are, because we can use that language in the marketing to kind of reverse it. So that was such a great reminder. I took some notes there because I think you can never work on that enough.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, it's noon. Any other last minute questions or anything for Nicole before we let her go?
The most devoted have stayed to the end.
Yes,
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
so good. Thank you so much. I will have the recording up. So if you want to rewatch this, especially if you're writing a sales page, you might want to just pause and rewatch. And then Nicole's information is all in the chat here. Follow her on Instagram, you know, check her out on her website. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. I hope to see, we didn't do our giveaway. All right, there's a giveaway. You guys are the last one standing. The giveaway is the book. So what's the question?
Oh, I didn't think of a question. Can I borrow yours then? Like who has the closest birthday to today? Today is what, February 16th?
Yes. Whose birthday is in this month? Anyone? No. Whose birthday is next month? March? April? May? June? Who likes to read? Anyone like to read here? Okay, Nicole, I'm sending you a book. There.
That was too funny. Nobody has birthdays.
Okay, bye guys.
All right. Thank you
Bye.
guys so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much.
Take care. Thank you so much.